Well, hey there, this is Shane from Shane's Books and Review. It's Friday. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate that. Today we're going to be talking about 14, which was wrote by Peter Clines and narrated by Ray Porter. As I was mentioning on Monday, there's all kinds of sci-fi stuff in this book. It was a nice little breath of air. I would say that this is a very entertaining book. Shadow. Dramatic. I would say it's a very entertaining book, and it does have a lot of different types of sci-fi kind of in it. Let me explain. Setup to the book is unique. Just a guy looking for a place. He describes himself as kind of being on the spectrum, and that he's really good at making links and putting things together. He's intelligent, but he's not a super genius or mad scientist type at all. He's just looking for a place to stay and finds this place and becomes absolutely obsessed with it. Inside of this place is a variety, a smorgasbord, if you will, of different types of people. You have a computer hacker woman that is Indian. You've got another guy that's kind of like a German background that is the building manager. There's diversity throughout the book. You've got one person that is really confident in their skin and likes to bathe nude on the top of the building, but of course our guy in the book, Nate, doesn't know this, walks out onto the sun deck to take a look around, and lo and behold, there she is in all of her glory. But beyond the quirkiness of the characters, and there's a lot of it, and it wasn't overdone, but it wasn't underdone. It was just enough to make it realistic and pretty good to read. It made me feel like I was caring more for the characters than what I normally do in a book. So there was that attachment, and there was I hope this works out. I hope this person's okay. I hope this, you know what I'm getting at, right? There was a emotional involvement for myself while I was reading the text. Speaking of which, Ray Porter does an excellent job as always whenever it comes to bringing those characters to life, treating them in a professional way, and then also staying true to the text and to, I'm thinking, the way that it was meant to be read. So it didn't take me out of it at all to listen to him and the different accents that he provided, the different speech cadences, etc. He did a really good job with that. Now, beyond Nate being one of those people that really are good at pulling information together and making links between information and coming to conclusions, we have an ex-military type, is what it seems like. There's a running joke in the book about how does he know this, and he's an ex-publisher, so that was fun. But the main story, really, it's about the place that they're staying at. It's the Kovac building, and the Kovac building is a very unique character in this book unto itself, and the reason why you need to discover for yourself. I could go on and on about this building. It's one of those things that it really inspired me when I read it because of its diverseness and how rich it is in idea. Really cool, really good concept. Way to go. As the story progresses, we find out more and more about some of the oddities inside of the Kovac building. And some of those oddities are little green cockroaches with an extra leg. And others are that one room stays at a particular temperature. There's all these little mysteries that keep popping up that tie into the whole. The whole is a big picture. It does have to do with things that we'll be talking about more in depth on the fold. I don't want to give too much away right now because if you haven't read this first book, sure, I could give you the whole story, but why? Why would I do that? I don't want to do that. I want to give you just enough to get you interested in it. It really was a good read, and it wasn't what I was expecting either. I was expecting it to be more along the lines of what he had wrote with like Paradox Unbound with Paradox Bound, and that was a great book, don't get me wrong, and it had a lot of layers to it, but this book has a lot of layers as well, and they're different types of layers than what was in the other one. It's not that it feels like somebody else wrote it, not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that Peter Clines apparently takes his time with his craft and does a really good job, so it gets me excited. I added him to my Amazon list. It's only because of these two books. I think I've only read 2 books of his. 14, well, officially I've read 4 now, but originally it was 2, which was Paradise Unbound and 14. I found out that there was another one, and that there's another one, and I'm happy about that because I can't wait to finish going through these. But it's not to say that there will be a next one. I don't have any information about that, but it was a fantastic read. It was awesome. I enjoyed watching what happened with Veek and with Nate and Roger, how Nate progresses through the story from, I work, to, I really just don't want to do this. It almost made me think of Office Space in a way, because he had that epiphanal moment and then things grew and he had no idea where things could go, but he embraced it and he went with it, and that was pretty cool. I also want to mention something about the imagery inside of the book. whenever I was talking about the books that I have back here behind me, some of the ones about writing, the imagery inside of the book, the descriptions, they were just enough to let you build what is around the characters as you're reading. And that was appreciated. That's such a small detail, but it's such a big detail at the same time. I'm not going to give any examples. Instead of having things so explained to me, almost like being spoon-fed, that I saw exactly what they were talking about, it left things open for my experience and what I've seen and where I've been. And that tied into making it a better read. So another point to Peter. Like, share, subscribe. This is Shane from Shane's Books and Review. I hope you enjoy this book if you check it out. And I will see you on Monday.